Warning: the opinions expressed in this video do not represent YouTube associations, agencies, nor any particular individuals. They are merely from three guys trying to pass the boredom of everyday life. Some explicit content may occur in this or future presentations. Viewer discretion may be advised, but ignored if you're into that thing.
What's going on, guys? Big Bad Wolf Benny here.
I'm Wildman Wes.
And I'm DJC.
We are on day 10 of our 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
This one we're doing today is a personal favorite of mine. It was mine and my mother's favorite Christmas movie. You've heard me talk about my mom in the past. She's not with us anymore. So this is one of those movies I kind of watch to pay tribute to her every Christmas. So anyways, It's a Wonderful Life. Great movie. I dare say probably the best Christmas movie in my opinion. Just in my opinion, because a lot of people might disagree, some people don't like it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about opinions. Everybody can have one. Now, anyways, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown, because this movie is a little bit longer, but it's got a good message. So, George Bailey is the main character. So basically, the movie starts with an angel by the name of Clarence being told, or actually shown, George Bailey's whole life. It starts off, he's a little kid, having fun. He saves his brother, which in the whole time, the process of him being a hero saving his brother, he loses hearing in his ear. This plays a big factor throughout the rest of the movie, that's why I bring it up. Fast forward, he's going to go to college, he's going to do all this stuff, he's going to get out of his little town that he's wanted to do since he was a kid as a dream. He wanted to get out of this little town, and he wanted to go make something of himself. Ends up not being able to go because his dad's business is not failing, but his dad kind of passes away and he has to take the place, and he doesn't get to go. So he gives all his college money to his little brother, who he saved. Now, again, he's running the family business. He's just a generally good guy. Helps people out where he can. Does all these great things for people. He's one of those guys that you call him, he's got your back. Years keep passing, everything's going on. Clarence is finding all this stuff out about George, and he even tells that higher up angel that, I like him. He seems like a nice person. He's got a good face. So George, he's making new homes for people. Otherwise they have to go to Potter, who will give them very, very terrible housing and, charge them for it. So George is making sure. So finally we come to the point where Clarence is about to intervene, where George's uncle, kind of older, kind of forgetful, he ties strings around his fingers so he can remember to do stuff. He loses a whole bunch of money. Now, of course, George starts to freak out now, and he goes to Mr. Potter trying to get money from him, and Mr. Potter actually knows what happened to the money, and the sneaky has the money, but he doesn't tell George that. He wants the Bailey bonds to fail, because then he becomes the sole money man of the town. So anyway, he kind of says something to George, with your insurance, you're worth more money dead than alive. So George now, just being a typical person, we've all had those bad days, goes home, and he starts realizing he doesn't like his life. And we've all had bad days like this where everything's just not going our way, so we start blaming everything. So he's yelling at his kids who are just trying to ask him for simple things, but he doesn't want to hear it. So finally he storms off, he gets into a car accident, and he comes to a bridge. And he looks down, and he hears in his head Mr. Potter saying, "You're worth more alive than dead." At this point, we finally get to meet Clarence. He falls into the water, and George, being the good guy he is, he saves him. So now after this, Clarence is taking him around town. He kind of gives George his wish that he wishes he was never born. So now he's going around the town. He knows all these people, but they don't know him, and everybody's changed. They're kind of assholes now. Mr. Potter, he's kind of in charge of the whole town. In fact, the town was renamed Pottersville. Everybody's an asshole. Everybody's bad. He runs into his wife. She's kind of a recluse, Nobody likes her, and problems. He goes to his house, which is abandoned now, and he kind of just wishes everything was back to normal. So finally, Clarence sets everything back right. And George is so happy to see everything's back to normal. He's so happy to see his kids, his wife, and then something cool really happens. All the townspeople heard from George's wife that they needed money. Now, George actually gave up money to go on his, what do they call it, after you get married? Honeymoon. He gave all his money up for their honeymoon to all his townspeople because, there was an event happened that he needed to step up to the plate, and he did. So everything got taken care of. So all these people come and they start bringing them gifts. All this money. Here, pay this, pay this. The guy who runs the bar, Mr. Martini, he's like, I opened the jukebox for you, and handing them money. It's so... And then at this point, George gets a book. It was Clarence's book, and in it, it says probably one of the greatest lines in any movie. No man is a failure if he has friends. Now, this ends the movie, and of course you get the whole line, look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. At that point, George looks up at the heavens and he winks at him. So, I love this movie. It's good. It's really got a good message behind it. Even though it's black and white, it's older, it's still a good movie that I can watch every year.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, look, the cast was great.
Oh, God, yeah.
Jimmy Stewart alone.
Jimmy Stewart is amazing.
He was a legend. Big legend. So, you pretty much touched it, on the head of the nail. It's a great movie.
Again, it goes back to being relatable.
Yeah, and in a way, it's almost like A Christmas Carol, only with a different message.
Yeah.
Instead of him being George being like Scrooge, going through memories.
Yeah.
It's completely a different, almost like a different parallel universe.
Yeah, like what would happen if you weren't born? What if you died instead of your brother dying? So. Again, I love this movie because, like I said, we've all had those really, really bad days. The day starts off, you're late for work. You have a terrible day at work, nothing goes right for you. You come home, and you start going through your head. You know what? Sometimes I wish I was never born. But you forget about the one thing. And this is the key message to the movie is, all the lives you touch. Even if you're like me, I'm sure there's somebody out there who'd miss me. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But,
I would.
Yeah, send me these guys who miss me. So, hey. But that's the whole key of the movie, because George Bailey he's a superhero. He really is in this movie. He gives without thinking of himself. He sacrifices his personal wealth to help these town people. So he is a superhero. So he touches all their lives. And like I said, when you watch the movie, pay close attention to all the characters that, after he's technically not alive anymore, how different their personalities are. They're all such scumbags and care about themselves. So, it's just funny to think that one person can change all of these other people's lives, make them good people. So, this is why I like the movie, because, you never know who you affect and who you don't affect. So, this is a very just good movie to me. I love it. Like I said, it's a special thing between me and my mom. So, this is why I'm very passionate about this movie.
Gotcha. Yeah,
DC. With the whole concept of the movie of taking him out of the picture and how life would be, almost kind of like with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
How, you take a small little thing out of a certain part and then go back and, all this has changed. More in part 2 than, the first one. So, you got that. And please, you guys, do not remake this movie.
No.
Don't.
No. Another thing, too, I forgot to say I liked about it, too, is going back to him helping out. Him saving his brother. His brother goes on to become, like, a fighter pilot in World War I. And he saves all these people, like, all these other soldiers and stuff. So, after they say he didn't, George isn't alive, and, his little brother died, all those people died. So, that's even more people whose lives were affected by George Bailey because of one act of kindness. So, you guys get what we're going for here?
So keep that in mind. Anytime that you feel like you're a failure, just know that you probably did at least one thing in the past.
You helped somebody.
Changed it. Yeah, because if
you affected somebody.
It's almost like a butterfly effect.
Yep.
Yeah. So, other than that, is there anything that we didn't like about this
There's
movie?
nothing I didn't like about this movie. I love it. It's so good. I'm going to watch it tonight when I get home now.
The only thing I didn't like was Mr. Potter, but but then again, that's just the character.
And you know what, though?
But it was good.
You know what's the scary thing about Mr. Potter is?
He's everywhere.
There's real Mr. Potters everywhere. Yeah. That's the scary thing about this.
Yeah. We are everybody
Everybody knows
watching,
Mr. Potter.
You all know Mr. Potter.
You all know Mr. Potter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, something I didn't like, but at the same time, it was for the best.
It was for the best. You're not supposed to like that character.
No.
Yeah, you had to have that kind of
You
character.
have to hate him. You have to have that character hate him. He's the polar opposite of George Bailey, and that's why it works. Where Mr. Potter's greedy, keeps to himself, George Bailey is, giving, and he thinks about everybody else. So that's why you need to have Mr. Potter.
It's a classic good versus evil story.
Yeah, and good ends up winning.
Yeah.
So
Well, now it's time to grade this.
it's getting an A+. Guys.
Yeah.
You heard how passionate
Yeah.
I talked about it. It's getting an A+.
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 So anyway, guys,
Another unanimous.
it's another unanimous one. I think this might be. Nah, we got a couple A+ on this one.
Yeah, we do.
Never mind. So anyway, guys, this was day 10 of our 12 Days of Christmas.
Almost there, man.
We're almost there. We got 2 more left. They're gonna be good ends. You'll love them.
Oh, yeah. Well, one's a little. But
One you'll laugh at. The other one you might be puzzled, but then you'll agree with us after we explain ourselves.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, make sure you like this video. Leave us a little comment down below. Be sure you share to your friends. And, of course, push the red button in this giving time of year. And you know what? Also, you might as well hit that bell, too, and get notifications when we put these episodes up for you.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So anyway, guys, I'm your big bad wolf, Benny.
I'm the Wild Man Wes.
And I'm DJC.
And we will see you tomorrow on day 11 of our 12 Days of Christmas. Have a good one.
See you soon.